Hello, my name is Austin Petterson. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my experiences at the New American Consortium for Wellness and Empowerment. I want to talk about a few key terms that I've learned through intercultural communication that I believe best describe the situation and the organization. The four terms I want to cover are codes, phase negotiation theory, conflict theory, and the last one is worldview. So now, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that I think ties best well with the consortium is codes or language barriers. Now, in intercultural communication class, we learned that codes can be defined as a language, but more so, they are the means or the pathways or the medium that can allow for two individuals to share some kind of content, one with a receiver and one with a sender. Now, codes, as I just recently talked about, primarily fall or are mostly recorded in with language. Now, at the consortium, the two primary languages that were discussed were Muslim and English, but primarily most of the people spoke in English. Now, this is not to say that the students and the other faculty members bounced back between Muslim and English, but also well adapted to using both codes in either Muslim or English. Now, we talked about how when two people have miscommunication, sometimes it can be that they don't understand the code. Now, this refers to being so, like myself, not being able to understand Muslim. Now, with the students, they actually were able to know both English and Muslim, so they could actually rely on both codes and could trace back the message from their language to my language, or English. The research for practice in policing Arab communities refers to language barriers as, although language barriers can significantly undermine police-community relations, most barriers can be effectively broken down through simple measures. This is only talking about how, if you learn the code, you can actually apply its meanings to another code. If you apply the new code that you learned, you can understand the message and not be misinterpreted. The next topic I want to get into is worldview. Now, worldview is the idea that certain groups or individuals have certain ideas about their ties to the cosmos or to the universe around them, or also in place with the world around them. Now, this theory implies for all groups that they have a set idea or set mindset that they have a place in this world or in this universe, whether it is good or it is bad. Referencing cross-cultural literacy, the term that they use is called ethnography. Now, ethnography is titled as being, in simplest terms, the study of culture, the process of constructing through direct personal observation of social behavior and theory, or a theory of the working of a particular culture in terms as close as possible. The goal of ethnography is to grasp the native's point of view. Now, typically, ethnography has been traditionally used for anthropologists, being able to distinguish another culture different from their own and figuring out what that culture actually meant or its ties to the universe. Now, this theory has actually been applied to many certain cultures like our own, and studying ways at how which we, as humans or as our cultural group, actually function within the universe. I think that this term actually also resonates well with the consortium because a lot of the students there feel that their worldview is being students in America. Now, this isn't to say that they don't have other views of the world, but in this place at that time, they only focus on being students, being learners. And I think that this follows back to what a certain individual decides to believe or what they want to believe as being their place in the universe. Next, I want to look at phase negotiation theory. Now, this theory, as we learned in intercultural communication, is the basis of two people being face-to-face with one another and using certain limitations to understand and better coordinate their relationship to one another. Now, this resonates a lot back at the consortium because for a lot of the students, their father was actually the one who was running a major part of the consortium, and they always looked up to him with respect. Referencing to theories in intercultural communication, reference terms, they give it as the negotiators' predispositions toward the concept of face, their face need and face concern levels. Modes, styles of managing the conflict episode are, for the most part, influenced by the social premises from which they draw their values and their norms. So all this is saying is with their face negotiation theory is they have their expressions and the ways that they want to communicate effectively. The final topic I want to bring up is conflict theory. As we learned in intercultural communication, conflict theory is the theory in which ways that people from different cultures often clash and have conflict with one another. More so being that they have a misunderstanding or that they have ways of communicating what they want to, but not in the way that they should. Referencing to making choices for multicultural education, they define conflict theory as a social understanding for behavior. It is organized much more on a group basis than an individual basis. Groupings do not necessarily have definite boundaries. What constitutes a group changes somewhat depends upon the situation. Now all that means is that it depends upon the certain situation that the two cultures are in, or that they are trying to alleviate. I think this ties back well with the consortium because with me being from a rural farm from Minnesota and them being from a city or an urban area, that kind of has a little bit of flaws because I actually kind of spoke with a little bit of an accent and a little bit of, not twang, but slurs or Americanized language, and they did not really pick up on that. They tried to alleviate their words in ways that I would maybe be able to understand. And with that, I actually pick up on this, so I was able to actually kind of cornerstone or curb my language barriers and actually be able to communicate better with them instead. So this covers, I believe, all the topics I want to, and I hope that this video was both informal and helpful, and hopefully I get a good grade on it. Thank you.